Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bold Trail Training. This video is going to be about creating smart campaigns. My name is Shanera Copeland. I'm the office manager for Tracy Foster for Maxima One. So this is that video and let's get started. So for this class, this training, you're gonna need your computer and ideas for your campaigns. So what is the smart campaign? The smart campaign is an automatic marketing system that sends personalized emails, texts, create tasks, and nurture real estate leads, providing valuable content like property recommendations or listing alerts based on the behavior from that platform to keep agents at the top of the mind and driving engagement without having to do so much manual labor and effort. How do you access the smart campaigns on Bold Trail? On the dashboard, when you look to the left hand side, it's going to look exactly like this. It's going to be a little dashboard that's there. You're going to click the marketing tab and it is going to take you to this big screen that's going to have a bunch of different things on there, but your main focus is going to be on the smart campaigns, and you'll click manage campaigns. So this is Tracy's version of it. I've kind of blocked out everything so you don't see all the information, but this is what it'll look like when you get to the campaign section. If you don't have any campaigns, it won't have anything listed, but since Tracy's account does, you can see here that she has all of them. So when you get to this page, it'll have all of the templates from your broker or your team members. And if you have a team, so you won't see anybody else that's a part of the broker here. You can edit, create them from scratch, or copy campaigns. If you need to edit a campaign, you'll click on the name of it and click the edit button. But note, if you wish to edit a campaign that has already been provided from your broker, or it's like a default campaign, you will not be able to edit this campaign if you're an agent. However, you can clone the campaign and create your own copy, which then you can edit. And I will show you how to do that later. So this is how you enable or disable campaigns. Right here, you can see on the side, this is the status. So this is what it looks like close up when you're looking at them. So it'll have the name of the campaign, name of the campaign, the description, when it starts, the date, who it's designed for, the channels of what you're going to be sending out, how many touches you've already received, if it's running, what's the status, and then the company. So to enable or disable, use a switch underneath the column section to click which one. So obviously this one is toggled on. If it's not toggled on, it'll look grayed out. So when you disable a smart campaign, this prevent the campaign from being able to assign new leads, will prevent the campaign actions from sending to existing assigned leads. So it pretty much just doesn't work when you disable it. Then if you want this to be attached to existing leads, then there will be no action triggered or sent out for it. It can still be applied though for campaigns. When we get to the mandated campaigns, you can see here that it's locked. It'll have this here, and then this shows you that it is unlocked. So when you see that a campaign is locked, that just means that the campaign will run the contacts that meet that criteria. So whatever, suggestions that you have for that said campaign, if they don't meet those, then the requirements, they can't do it. The campaign will always be active and for that contact, and it'll do it for them. So if you have a birthday for that person, then it'll automatically always send that contact a birthday message. But there's two types of locks that come with the campaign. So you have the dark padded lock, which is this one. This is a campaign that was created for an administrative level that will run for contacts to match the criteria of the campaign. And then you have the open padlock, which is like this. The campaign is created by an agent or an administrative that is not mandated. So this is how you clone or copy a campaign. The best way to start with the campaign is to copy an existing one out of the system of campaign lists that have been provided to you. In the system Smarts campaign list, you can click on the campaign name to review its content and it'll show you what it looks like. So this is what you'll see when you do everything for the campaign. You can copy the campaign to your personal library using the clone button on the right side, and clicking on clone campaign will open up a pop-up with all the options pre-filled. So this is what you'll see when you're trying to clone the campaign, reviewing it, going over everything and what the name is, who this is going to be sent out to. And you pretty much just change any details that you need to fit the appropriate requirements, and then you just click finish, and then it's set up and done. Now, creating and editing campaigns. Campaigns have two parts: campaign settings, which dictates the campaign starts and the other details such as name or whether or not it's shared with other Bold Trail users, or you have the campaign action, which is the individual events that occur within the campaign. So if you want a text to go out in 5 days for the campaign, then the campaign will do that action. Hence why you can set up emails, text messages, or anything that you would need to be able to send this information out to agents and leads. So this is how you create a new campaign. You're going to start with your campaign logic. What's your idea? Are you trying to promote this listing to people who are looking? Say you have some leads that are looking for a 5-bedroom house, 4-bed with a pool. So you know that, hey, this campaign is for this particular house. This is who it's designed for. This is all the like contacts that I want to send this to. You set those details. And then once you get them solidified and you figured out how you want to do that specifically, then you review it and you add it. Here's the step one. You're gonna go to My Campaign, which will look like this, and you're gonna find whatever campaign you want to do, and you'll add it to your library. So you'll click here and you'll click Add Library. So the campaign scope, which is admin only, so only admins have access to do this. So like, the agents or anybody that's under that team or office can have access to this. The first thing you'll set as the admin is the scope. So who you're wanting this to go to, specific person, and then who you want to have access to this. Your campaign triggers will be 2 types of triggers. So you have your standard and you have your advanced. These are the standard triggers. Here are some of the triggers that you can see. We have lead is new. It is all added to new leads. It's a standard trigger when you want the campaign to be assigned to new leads after they register on your site from an ad or a lead funnel source. So such as you use like a landing or a squeeze page, which I'll talk about that in the next video. You have contacts is transferred. It's added when a new lead is transferred from one user to another. Hashtag is added if the lead gets a specific hashtag assigned to it. Specific date occurs is added date based on the birthday or home purchase anniversary or specific dates of your own choosing. You can add a qualifier, which is optional, such as a specific hashtag or source or etc. But please note, only one birthday or home anniversary campaign can run at a time. If it's either used to trigger for 2 campaigns, one will not attach. So you can't pretty much have like the same trigger for a birthday and a home. So you would have to do birthday by itself and then a home anniversary, because you can't set them up both to set at the same time. Now, advanced triggers, you can create a specific condition, which is under the campaign for an intended contact. A common use for this campaign is, for specific advertising sources, such as like the status is in the lead or the hashtag is blank for a listing website. And if you look at this little video here, it kind of just goes through what you'll do. You'll pick the field, the logic, the value. If you want to add a trigger or you don't want it to start a trigger, you can do the always run. You can say yes or no, and you just keep going until you have it set the way that you would like for it to be set. Now, the advanced trigger logic is the field equals the value, is the field is not the value. Only the campaign will only trigger if the lead has a hashtag listed there, but no more nor less. So you can't have like too many triggers, but you can't have less than enough triggers. The must is the lead must have all hashtags listed, but also could have more. So you need to be as specific as possible when you're doing the advanced triggers. And if you don't want it to start a trigger, this is an option to not apply the trigger yet, meaning the campaign will never be automatically applied to a contact. But you can always go back and manually change that or assign it. And you can always trigger if the campaign will run or always run. Now, step 2, who is designed for. This is the campaign designed for. So you have your buyer, your seller, your renter, your vendor, agent, or all. And you will pick based off who or what the campaign is supposed to be for. Now, when we get to campaign specificity, the lead types really do matter. So you need to make sure that they match the criteria of what you need the campaign for. So if trigger 1 is for a new lead, a buyer, and the source is from Zillow, you need to make sure you attach that for those people. If it's just a new lead and buyer, then just do new lead and buyer. But if it's just a new lead, then you just put new lead. That is why it's important to have an idea of what your leads are doing, if they're new or if they're existing or if they're a buyer or if they're a pending buyer or if they're a seller. That information is important for you to have. Now, step 3 is set the details. You're going to have your campaign name. You're going to have your campaign description, always run, or if it's locked. Make sure you set those and you know what you want. Your campaign details, like I said, is your name. You add your description, add as much information as you need, always run, but you use this with caution. So make sure you plan when you do this. And then locked is just, making sure that nobody else can go in there and change it. If it's left unlocked, then agents can move this contact. They can move the contacts and make them manual or automatic. So just keep that in mind when doing that. And then review and add. You review everything, make sure it's good. You can always go back and change this information, but just know once you finish it, that is it. Now, templates and your campaign action. Templates are like a canned response. So you can write them ahead of time and then you can insert them into the campaign and set them as an action. Campaign actions are scheduled things that happen. So text messages, emails, tasks, calls, status change, hashtag change. These can be changed because the actions are set for a certain reason. So you have different types of templates. You have your email template, which you can create your own campaign for that. You can use basic emails or you can do advanced, which is HTML based. And you can add like, designs, colors, videos, sound, all of the things that you will want to, make the email stand out. You also have your basic template, which is your template name, the template scope. You pick whatever the scope is, and then the content. You have advanced template, which is usually just using HTML. Lots of times when you see advanced templates specifically for a website or for email, they're going to be referring to HTML. And then we have SMS templates that you can send out. Just know that there is a 220 character limit. So just know that that is important. So try to, limit what you say so it fits within the character limit. But if you have a SMS signature, it won't affect that. That's not included in it. But the actions for the text messages need to be spaced within 24 hours. They can't be like simultaneous. And then you have your task templates, which are just reminders. These can include the template name, the template scope, the title, content, and assigned to. So this is what you'll see on your dashboard when you go to your profile, or when you just go to your dashboard, you'll see it on the side. And then you have your call template, which are calls that are scheduled, and they will do the same exact thing as a task template. And then you have a voicemail drop template that will send voicemails out, and you can just have your recording of your name, and then it'll just be sent for that reason. So now we get into campaign endings, which is when you open a campaign that's in your campaign library, you can change the notice on all of these. This table will tell you when the action is triggered, the name of the action, what kind of action it is, who is this action going to, or is being sent or assigned, and then there's an edit and delete button. You can always go and verify if a campaign has ended, and you can add a task to it or you can delete a task. Now you have manual assigning, pausing, or restarting campaigns. So when you go to the CRM, this is what it looks like on the side, and you'll have active campaigns here, and you can pause them or restart them. It's really based on what you want. You can manually assign these campaigns by clicking on add link or selecting available campaigns from the list. And then you just click the pencil and you can change it. And if you look here, you can see the active campaigns. They're clicking add campaign. They find the one they want, they attach it, and then you can say pause, restart, or remove. So you can constantly keep changing these, and you don't have to go through the full process of trying to figure out what's working, what's not. Now, replacing a campaign, once an active lead turns into a client, you can change that campaign. So that way the communication is different and it's not the same thing you've been running. You go to your CRM, you go to that campaign section, and you just remove that campaign so that it doesn't keep running. Because the last thing you will want for your agent is, or your lead, that, hey, they're already interested in buying or they're active, and then you keep sending them promotional content because you forgot to take it off. So just keep that in mind. Try to keep up with that. And then when you're trying to remove them, just make sure that you have it, you change the information on it, where it's closed or past client, and just make sure that it's removed. And you do all of this in the smart campaign section. And then you can also delete them as well and remove them. But just know, once you delete them, this is permanent. So if you delete it and you're like, oh no, that's not the one I wanted, you're going to have to recreate it. So just be careful about what you plan on removing and deleting, because you can't get it back once it's gone. And once you have all that, you're set. This does take time to do, so please do not beat yourself up if you don't get it right on the first try. That is okay. Things happen, but just know that it does take some time. And if you have any questions, just leave them down below. I hope you guys have a great day.